Malawi doesn't go quiet for nothing. When the whole country pauses, from the maize market to minibuses, you know something big has dropped. And this time, it's not a power cut, my friend. It's politics. The former big man, Lazarus Chakwera, just shocked the nation by publicly begging forgiveness from his old rival, Peter Mutharika. Yes, the same Mutharika he once booted out of State House. The apology hit harder than a thunderstorm in October. People are whispering, debating, even laughing, nervously, because, let's be honest, when a former president says, "I'm sorry," it can mean many things in Africa. Is it humility, strategy, or pure political survival mode? Welcome to Global Pulse News, where we unpack the headlines with a Malawian heartbeat and a global eye. Grab your tea, my friend. This story is about to get interesting. So, here's how it started. Chakwera stood before cameras and admitted he wasn't the leader Malawi deserved. He said he failed the people, let pressure cloud his judgment, and now seeks forgiveness from both citizens and Mutharika. My guy, that's not your everyday political speech. That's confession booth energy. Some people clapped, others rolled eyes like, "Now you remember?" After years of promises, scandals, and missed opportunities, those words cut deep. It's rare for an African president to say, "I was wrong." That's like a cat apologizing to a mouse. But whether it's genuine or not, it shook the nation. Everyone's asking, what made the lion finally lower his roar? Because, my friend, before forgiveness comes failure. Let's rewind to where the cracks began. When Chakwera first took office in 2020, Malawi was buzzing. Hope was everywhere. New leadership, fresh energy, and talk of unity. He promised to fix corruption, fight poverty, and bring servant leadership. 3 years later, the music changed. Prices went up, jobs went down, and corruption danced like it owned the place. His servant leadership started to feel more like service delayed. The very people who cheered his name started muttering in frustration. Streets went from celebrating to complaining faster than a minibus fare hike. By the time elections came, voters said enough, sending him home and bringing Mutharika back. So when the man who replaced you suddenly says, "I'm sorry," you know the drama is only beginning. Chakwera's apology hit Malawians like a headline nobody expected. Homes, churches, and social media groups were buzzing. Some said it was maturity, others called it damage control. In Malawi, timing speaks louder than words, and this timing raised eyebrows. Why now? Just when protests were rising and investigations into his administration were heating up? Sounds like strategy dressed as sincerity, doesn't it? Still, for many, hearing a leader admit wrong felt refreshing, like rain after a long drought. But for others, it felt like a sugar-coated survival move. In the streets of Lilongwe, people joked, "He's not saying sorry, he's saying save me." And to truly understand this apology, you have to know the history between these two political giants. You see, Chakwera and Mutharika are like two bulls that once locked horns in the same kraal and left the whole field shaking. Back in 2020, their rivalry divided the country like a machete through sugarcane. Court cases, protests, insults, everything was on the table. Mutharika lost power, but not pride. And when Chakwera took over, he ruled with that quiet satisfaction of a man who thinks he's done with his rival forever. Fast forward to now, he's calling that same man my brother. Politics has no permanent enemies, just permanent interests. The same handshake that broke Malawi's heart might now be its only hope. But hold up, forgiveness isn't a group discount. The people have their own opinions. The apology split the nation like a chambo bone at lunch. Some Malawians said, "Let's forgive and move forward." Others shouted, "Not before justice." In Blantyre, crowds gathered outside party offices chanting for accountability. "Peace before politics," one placard read. The streets are not united. One side wants healing, the other demands consequences. It's the eternal Malawian dilemma. We love peace, but we also love truth. So the big question remains, can forgiveness stand without accountability? Or are we just building another piece on shaky foundations? And while the people argue on the streets, the man who holds the key to this drama is sitting quietly, watching the show unfold. Peter Mutharika, the elder statesman himself, has kept his lips sealed tighter than a bank vault. No tweet, no press conference, just silence. Sources say he's consulting advisors, some urging reconciliation, others warning him to keep distance. Remember, Mutharika's supporters still feel wronged by Chakwera's rule. Accepting that apology could be seen as strength or weakness, depending on who you ask. But one thing about Peter, he's strategic. He doesn't move until the ground feels safe. So for now, he's watching, calculating, probably sipping tea while the whole country speculates. But there's one group that's not keeping quiet, the youth. And trust me, they're not playing games.
Malawi's young generation, sharp, vocal, and social media powered, is calling this apology what it might really be: performance politics. Youth activists from Lilongwe to Mzuzu are saying, "We don't need apologies, we need answers." They've been leading peaceful protests, demanding transparency and investigations into corruption during Chakwera's term. To them, leadership without accountability is just a remix of old problems. One youth leader said, "We can forgive a person, but not repeat a mistake." Ish, that line hit like truth from the pulpit. These young voices aren't clapping for words, they want action. And while Malawi debates, the rest of Africa is nodding like, here we go again. Across the continent, we've seen this movie before. Kenya, Zambia, Nigeria, leaders apologizing, rivals shaking hands, citizens clapping, then silence. The plot never changes. What makes Malawi's version different is the emotion. This rivalry isn't just political, it's personal. Chakwera and Mutharika's feud shaped the country's identity. Now their truce could reshape it again. The problem? Many Malawians fear that forgiveness without reform is just recycling. As one commentator said, we can't keep painting the same house and expecting it to look new. Still, this story is Africa through and through: drama, hope, and endless headlines. But even the best apology comes with small print, and Malawi's fine print is written in history. Political analyst Dr. Henry Kua said it best: "Forgiveness without truth is theater." Chakwera's speech sounded noble, but the people haven't forgotten corruption scandals, broken promises, and mysterious deaths that haunted his term. Forgiveness is sweet, but it doesn't erase the past. Without justice, it's just a handshake over buried pain. Some citizens say the apology is step one. Others say it's step backward. Either way, it's clear: Malawi is tired of leaders who say sorry only when cornered. Real repentance needs receipts, not rehearsed lines. So what's next for this beautiful but restless nation? Well, that's where the story really turns. Malawi now stands at a crossroad, my friend, between healing and repeating history. Whether Mutharika forgives or not, this moment has already changed the national conversation. People are talking about unity, truth, and the kind of leadership they actually want. Maybe this political storm will lead to renewal, or maybe it's just another rerun in Africa's endless power saga. But one thing is certain: the people are awake now. You can't fool an informed generation forever. And if this apology truly sparks dialogue, then maybe, just maybe, it won't be in vain. So, Malawians, what do we do with this moment? Do we laugh, forgive, or demand justice first? Because forgiveness without change is like building a dam with sand. It won't last long. Whether Chakwera meant every word or not, one thing is sure: Malawi is learning to hold leaders accountable. That's growth, my people. Real growth. The story isn't over, it's just starting a new chapter. And as always, Global Pulse News will keep you ahead of it. Truth served with a Malawian accent and global energy. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and stay part of Africa's most fearless voice. Because here, we don't just report news, we translate power for the people. Stay woke, stay proud, and never stop asking questions.